streets of Brooklyn, where stories grow wild to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark. Curtains rose and so did he, finding power in poetry. One voice, one mic, one sacred truth. Every word he spoke uncaged the youth. He saw the world try to silence the bold, but his soul was wired to break the mold.
Welcome to Born to Speak to You TV. I'm your host, Calvin Gibbs, and man, do we have a fantastic episode for you this evening. This episode is called Improvising Wholeness, the healing of creative music, the healing power of creative music. I have a question for you. What if music wasn't just entertainment, but medicine? In this episode, we are going to talk to some legendary creative musicians from Chicago's groundbreaking Association for the Advancement of Creative Musicians. It's called the AACM, to explore how sound becomes healing. How does improvisation restore the soul? How does percussion regulate trauma? Can a flute carry prayer? And why has creative music always been a tool of liberation in the Black communities? It's more than a discussion about jazz. It's about frequency. It's about restoration. It's about sound as sanctuary. So prepare to experience music, not just with your ears, but with your whole being. We'll be right back in 60 seconds. Welcome to Born to Speak to You TV, where we're speaking life into the moments that matter. This isn't just a show. It's a movement. It's a space where stories are honored, voices are lifted, and truth has a mic. Each episode, we dive into powerful conversations on identity, on equity, growth, healing, leadership, and the courage that it takes to speak up in a world that often wants us to keep quiet. Whether it's through personal testimony, community impact, or artistic expression, Born to Speak to You is where voices rise and change begin. Our mission is simple: to empower people to use their voice, own their truth, and build bridges of communication and understanding. So, sit back or lean in, because you're about to witness what happens when passion meets purpose. This is Born to Speak to You TV. Let's speak life. Welcome back to Born to Speak to You TV. I'm your host, Calvin Gibbs, and man, I can't wait to get this conversation going. Improvising Wholeness, the healing of creative music. For decades, the Association for the Advancement of Creative Musicians have pushed beyond traditional definitions of jazz into what they call great Black music. Music that experiments, music that liberates, music that restores. So tonight, we ask a powerful question: can creative music heal? And joining us tonight is master percussionist Dushun Mosley. Welcome to Born to Speak to You TV, Dushun.
Thank you, Calvin. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have visionary flautist and vocalist, Brother Talib Dean Ziad.
Greetings, Calvin. It's a pleasure being here.
It's a pleasure to have you. And we have Brother Art Turk Burton, who is a well-recognized Congo and bongo drum jazz artist. So sit back or lean in, because here we go. This isn't just a conversation. This is going to be an experience. So let's begin. Gentlemen, I hope you can swim, because I like to start in the deep end. That's where the party is. I like to jump right into it and get wet. That's where the party's at. So we're going to begin with the foundation. The foundation, what is creative healing? I'm going to ask, I'm going to throw this question out for anyone that wants to answer it. How would you define creative music in your own words?
Well, I like to say that creative music it's music for the soul, the body, and the heart. It's music that can uplift you,
Mm,
have you to think about thoughts that are good for you, prosperity, of course, and but
right.
health, love, those kinds of things, rather than moving your body. I think that for a lot of years, even at the beginning, we had music that would make people think and conjure what their lives are going to be, and they would move and they would shake their body. And I think that other areas of the world looked at that kind of thing as being satanic or being something that was not sinful, I should say, that's sinful, rather than being philosophical and spiritual. The music needs to make you move. The music needs to make you shake, and maybe sometimes make you stop and think. And that's what we do.
Hey, sounds good. Thank you for that, Dushun. Brother Talib, when
Yes.
did you first realize that music could be healing? Was there a point that you said, oh, this is it? This could do it?
I found that out when I was very young, singing in the church.
Okay.
And
And we're going to
and
throw this. Yes.
and so I asked my parents about it. They said you have a gift of music that touches
Mm,
people's hearts, touches their souls.
okay. All
Mhm.
right. Fantastic. And Brother Turk, how does the AACM philosophy shape the way that you approach healing through sound?
Well, the ASM is geared toward total creativity.
Hmm.
And the creativity we do comes from the process of intuitive design. And that is on the highest level of intuitiveness to bring about creativity that will not only, it travels from the musician to the person that's listening to the music. And actually, what we're doing started kind of the origins of the music started in New Orleans and other places, but in the 40s, Duke Ellington started writing symphonic works and suites that changed from so-called just dance music to music that it would enrich your body and spirit. And then on the other side, bebop came in, which was not a dance music so much, but it was more of music that to enrich your mind, body, and soul. And so we are based on that type of foundation where what we do is on the creative side, and it has enrichment within the music, and
Okay.
definitely enrich your soul.
All right. Fantastic. So would you say that the healing is intentional when you perform, or does it happen organically?
I, I think the healing is in the music itself,
Okay.
and it may hit people differently, but if they open themselves up, I think the music can be very much healing and bring about blessings to them if they really open themselves up to the music.
Okay. Sounds good. And Brother Dushun, next question is for you. What happens physiologically when someone hears live percussion?
Well, several things can happen. One,
Hmm.
you could sit there and just enjoy it and just feel it coming through your body because it's a representation of your heart. And as you know, your heart doesn't really beat regularly all the time.
Right.
So it's a representation of your whole body. It's keeping you alive. And there's other times where it forces you to move automatically, like a James Brown song. I have to say this real quick thing. Back when Turk and I were in grade school, we used to go outside after school and play drums. We didn't really have any drums, actually. We just had boxes and a bongo and a drum we took from the school. And we would just do nothing but play. We didn't even know any rhythms or anything like that. We just playing. And some of the girls would go out and they start dancing. Now none of us have ever been to Africa. None of us have didn't know a rhythm, but we had something going. And eventually, of course, the school stopped us from doing that because they thought we were doing something odd. But it was always creative. And that's how we want to make people feel. If they want to get up and dance, if they want to sit back, they want to close their eyes and go to sleep. That's what we want to have them feel. We are trying to get into the inner self more than the outer self. But when you get into your inner self, you're going to start to do something.
Okay. All right. Got to move. Got to
You gotta
move.
move.
So a while back, after I was planning to retire from corporate America, stop doing the speaking thing, and move to South Carolina, sit on my porch, and learn how to play the flute. Yes, that's what I wanted to do.
Mm.
Well, I'm still in Chicago. I'm still speaking, doing this TV show, still working. I have the flute. I haven't had the opportunity to really get into it like I want to. But Brother Talib,
Yes.
I have a question for you, sir, because
Hmm.
you are a world-renowned flautist. So this question is for you. What role does breath play in flute and vocal healing?
It plays a very, very significant role because without breath, there's no sound.
Mm,
Without breath, there's no hitting of the drum. Breath sing. And so breath is life. And when you use breath, which all musicians use, regardless of what instrument they're playing, you have to
right,
breathe and you have to breathe in a certain manner. And you're putting life into the music that you're playing. And that's what makes the music. It's just like certain musicians, you can hear one note, two notes, and you know exactly who that is that's playing
right.
because their life is in their sound.
Okay, okay. That's deep. I def all of us are nodding our heads. I definitely definitely agree with that for sure. This
Mhm.
is a question that any of you can answer if you would like. Is there a difference between recorded healing music and live healing music? And
Well,
the reason I asked this is because I recently, a couple months ago, I had a chance to see all three of you in performance, and I had taken a family member with me who was suffering from what they call dementia, and I noticed a change in her. Now, she started rocking, she started grooving, she was enjoying the music. We had a hard time getting to the performance. We got there late because things were going on in the car with her. But once she walked in there, she just totally melted and started enjoying herself. So I was thinking, is there a difference from hearing this uh, live, or if a recorded healing music session would evoke the same emotions from a person?
Well, I would like to say that I think that you can get music that's recorded and can bring about pleasant and spiritual blessings in a way. But I think for me, I think live music is the best. If you can really hear music live and be close to the artists who are making the music, I think that's more powerful than what's recorded. Although I think you can get blessings from recorded music also.
Okay. So we'll talk still on sound and the body. And my next question is, Dushun, I'm going to ask you this one. Have you seen audiences visibly transformed? Have you looked out and seen a transformation in the audience or in an audience member during your performance?
Yes, yes, on several occasions of watching them. Some of the time when we're performing, we are in our zone or in our heads because we have to listen and pay attention to everybody on the stage. But when you do look out at the audience, you see people, they're in the zone too about what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing. And that's where we want them. And the healing music that we have with bowls and hand pans and hand drums are the basic rhythms that we can go ahead and place anybody into, and they don't have to be a John Coltrane jazz artist, Miles Davis jazz artist, in which they're fabulous people, and they don't have to do the boogaloo. That's an old school that word there, isn't it? But they get into but what they get into is they get into a situation of sound where the sound is what's putting them in the mode, and it's the rhythm of the sound. The sound carries a rhythm, and the rhythm carries a sound, and that's what moves their heart and soul.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. And I do agree with that because I did purchase some recorded music for this family member, and the result was a bit different. This family member, when it was live and she was there, really got into it. Her whole body was into it, and she was watching what was going on. When I played the recording, of course, she couldn't see it, but she closed her eyes and threw her head back and started grooving that way. So that's why I asked that question. Is it something about seeing it as well as hearing it versus just hearing it? And I think the answer is yes. So thank you all for that. We're going to put a pin in it for just a second, and we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back. This is Born to Speak to You TV, and we'll be right back in 60 seconds. And we are back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. We are having a fantastic conversation on improvising wholeness, the healing power of creative music. And here with me are my guests, Dushun, Brother Talib, and Art Turk Burton. We are talking, we're going to move into another segment. This one is sound and the spirit, because we know that there's a spiritual connotation attachment to the music. But I want to ask you, can music function as prayer? Whole improvised music, can that function as prayer? I see heads. Who wants to take this question?
Yes, it can function as a prayer. Sometimes, I say a lot of times when I play, I'm trying to connect to the creator as well as the audience. And sometimes the music that I write is based off of a theme that has a higher consciousness to it. And hopefully for some of the people in the audience,
has a higher connection to it. And for some people in the audience, they probably are feeling the spirit, maybe moving. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, if we look at artists, John Coltrane made an album called The Love Supreme, and the whole album is a prayer. And he also made a tune called Dear Lord that Joseph Jarman of the AACM made a recording of. It's a prayer. So many of the tunes by creative artists are prayers and such. And they're meant to be prayers because they're giving homage to the creator for being here on earth. So
absolutely. You know, I recently was getting into the book of Psalms, and a lot of the chapters in there was written, I believe, as prayers. David was going through what he was going through and asking for help. People wanted to kill him. People wanted to see him not do well, and he was praying for relief and redemption. So I definitely agree with you guys. Music can function as prayer, but do you see improvisation as a spiritual practice?
Yeah, you know, here's what's interesting about improvisation is that it's all coming from your soul.
Mm.
It we learn to be musicians and good musicians by practicing and working on scales and patterns and things like that, like any musician would do. But the difference is that we are attacking. I'm not. I want to say attacking mean or bad, but we are functioning or looking at the spirit of the body. We're trying to make the spirit move. So if you have less money or health than what you think you should have, maybe some of the time you need to sit back and just listen to that still small voice. And if we can go ahead and project some of that in you, so that still small voice is it's in your ear, in your body a lot more, then that's what we're trying to do. And that's what we work on
Okay.
creatively.
Okay. And Dushun, I got to tell you, that was my very next question. The role that silence plays in healing. And I believe it's a very big part of it. So thank you for jumping ahead of the gun and giving us that response. So thank you very much for that. I'd like to ask someone to speak on the meditative power of creative music as far as a meditational resource.
Yeah. Well, the music, for those who can tune in to it, it creates that meditative state for them. Because if you look in the audience, you'll see certain individuals sitting there with their eyes closed, listening to the music, and you can see peace on their face. So it has that kind of effect on individuals. So the music, the music is meditative.
All right. Thank you for that. I want to ask all three of you individually, how do you personally prepare yourself spiritually before performing? Do you have a ritual? Do you have something that you do or think? Dushun, what do you do?
Well, we always face the east before we start to play
Yes.
and give homage to that whole platform. We always do that. But yes, we do, and we say a prayer before we go on stage, and then we exhibit that while we're on the stage. And the real key thing is being relaxed, taking all the kind of things that's in your mind before you get on that stage, and you walk out there with a clean slate and an open heart, spiritually, in your mind, and in your soul. And then we go with it. And we listen to each other. It's a real thing of being able to play by yourself. Like there's a lot of musicians that do that. They can play well by themselves. But when you get a group and you have to play with several different people, the spirit of what's going on with each of us has to be the same.
Hmm.
We can't be mad at each other. Nothing like that ever happens because we are concentrating on how the music is making us feel, and we're all feeling that same energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I witnessed that night when I saw you guys performing as well. Um, Brother Turk, what do you personally do to prepare yourself spiritually before performing?
Well, sometimes I meditate, and sometimes meditate is short, sometimes it's long. But whenever I play and I get situated where I'm located, that becomes a holy place for me. Um, that is probably the most holy place for me at any given point in time in the day is when I'm playing music. And so it becomes very special.
Okay. Thank you. Brother Talib.
Yeah, I pray, um, asking the Creator to allow me to become removed from the music and let the music flow through me, and that the music has a healing effect on everyone who is present listening, as well as people who aren't there listening, but that it permeates throughout the universe.
All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much for that. As for moving into another section, the cultural legacy and liberation. Historically, how has creative music served as a tool of resistance? Talking about for our people, how has creative music served as a tool of resistance?
But if you take a look at the drum, I play drums, and the drums have always been used to communicate and to carry messages. And if you look at the Haitian Revolution, which was successful by the Haitians against the French and the British, the drums are used for the great use of in terms of what they were doing, fighting the colonizers, and they used it for liberation. Uh, so, music can be used to liberate people all the time, especially if we look at the 60s when we had the Black Revolution in the United States. A lot of the creative music that was being made inspired a lot of people who were poets, uh, people that had different aspects of the society at that time in terms of what they were doing to try to uplift Black people in the United States of America. And the music was intent on uplifting people. It was not just music just being played, it was music made on purpose to bring the best music possible to inspire people and take them to another level of consciousness.
Absolutely.
Well, can I
I
just say one thing about that though? It's not
Yeah, go ahead.
resistance. It's not. We're not resisting. We're not fight the power to be. We're we're spiritually entertaining and healing. It's not resistance. It's moving forward.
Right, but in the resistance movement, of people trying to, as a people, trying to move forward or get out of their situation, and they're trying to do it spiritually. That's I guess that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because
Well,
historically, we've had a lot to fight for, and music, as was just said, has been a tool for us to fall back on. Brother Talib, yes, please.
yeah, well, music, the musicians express through their music sometimes.
Yes, and sometimes they absolutely do. I
Hmm.
think Brother Talib froze a little bit there. Yes, go
Yeah,
ahead, sir.
yeah. Sometimes musicians do perform music that has a addressing the situation that we are in at that particular time.
Right.
And it's just like poets. Poets, they speak about what's going on in the times that they're in. And so musicians do that as well. If you look at some of the titles,
Some of the titles definitely would lead you to believe that this is a song that could be used for liberation, for uplifting, to make people feel good, motivate them even, to motivate them even. Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
all the music has a spiritual connotation to it,
mhm,
you know.
yes, it does. So, individually, I'm going to ask you guys, what responsibility do you feel that you, as a musician, have to community healing? What is your responsibility in all of this?
To create music that's uplifting,
Hmm.
music that is consciously played to heal and bring some peace to
Mm,
people.
okay.
Mhm, mhm. And to
Anyone
let
else
them
want to
understand,
add to that?
yeah, to let them understand that there's an alternative to what they hear on the commercial lines and on the commercial um, music in the air. But there's another way of feeling. It's like a it's I can't say it's like a religion because I don't want anybody to think that it's like a religion. But what it is, it's about a feeling. It's about a healing feeling. And that's what we want to give people. Because at this point in time, we all need to be healed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I spent a lot of time trying to give my nieces and nephews the benefit of the knowledge, wisdom, experience that I have. So, as far as the the preservation of this type of tradition, how do we preserve this for future generations? We all know music changes from time to time, and how do we get these Gen Z um, individuals, these younger generations, to understand and preserve this tradition for future generations?
It has to start in the family. The family has to be aware of African American culture, and they have to be aware of the great artists that have been in the past, the present, and the future. And they have to buy some music so that their children could hear it. They have to go to concerts, take their kids and families to concerts, and support the artists as much as possible. The creative music is not pushed by the national multicultural music industry as what they want to push out. Most of the time what they're pushing is junk, and so we have to find the music within the communities that is wholesome and bringing a breath of fresh air to the, especially within our culture, African American music tradition.
That's an excellent answer. I do believe that it begins with the family, the parents, the elders need to introduce the younger generations to this, to them, explain it, tell them the story behind it, and hopefully it will latch on. They'll want to dig deeper into it, and as happens with generations, they may put their own spin on it, but it's
that's
still
part of our mission is of giving instruction is to
Mhm.
expose the youth to this music and this way of approaching life.
All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we're going to put a short pin in this right now. We need to have a message from our sponsor. We'll be right back in 60 seconds. This is Born to Speak to You TV. And we are back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. We are having a great conversation on improvising wholeness, the healing power of creative music. And we want to move into our last segment on practical healing and everyday life. Practical healing and everyday life. Gentlemen, what advice would you give to someone that's going through grief? On the musical tip, what advice would you give to someone that's going through grief? Dushun, why don't you take this one?
If people are going through grief, one of the things that they can do before they even turn the music on is to sit down for a minute and just relax their soul. And then when they turn on the music, their mind will tell them what music they need to listen to. They won't even have to look through their whole stack of music if they don't desire. Some people will pick up an album or a CD that they really like and they put on because that healed something in them 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But I really think that this kind of music, you need to really still yourself and listen to it.
Mm.
Still yourself, let everything go that's happened to you that day or in the world or in your household so that you can be open to what's going on, and then watch the musicians and watch how we interplay and put our thing together.
Okay. Thank you for that. Brother Turk, what sounds or rhythms do you listen to personally for your restoration?
Well, being a percussionist, I'm very Afrocentric in terms of what I hear. I like to listen to African rhythms in the diaspora from the Caribbean, South America, and the motherland. And even my cousin, who was a Black psychiatrist, would take trips to Africa with a group of Black psychiatrists from the United States. And they found out that the drums could heal people in Africa if they had different ailments. And the drum has that type of power. And so I've studied rhythms, and I'm still studying rhythms, and I try to convey those rhythms when I perform.
Okay.
Excuse me.
All right. Thank you for that. And Brother Talib,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
How can everyday people, just ordinary people, use music to regulate their emotions? Is it something people can do to just like as part of their, as they, the buzzword these days is mental health? What can people do to regulate their own emotions?
Well, first of all, they have to be in a mindset to be looking for that. It's, because if you turn on the radio, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get that kind of energy.
I agree. I agree. I love this conversation because I always, in fact, just yesterday I was teaching a class and I'm trying to stress to them that everything starts with the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
After that, when your head is on straight, when your mind is focused on what needs to be done or what you are trying to get, then you can go after it. Then you can create your goal, your plan on how to get it. You can do the grind even to get it. Mm-hmm. But it all begins with the mindset, brother. Thank you so much for that. And the last question, and I'm going to ask all three of you to please take a turn answering this one. If someone has never experienced creative music, where should they begin, in your opinion? Brother Turk, let's start with you.
I would advise them to come to an AACM concert, check out the AACM's Facebook site, website, and see where AACM artists are performing. And we have other institutions in the city also that plays creative music. The Jazz Showcase has had great artists come through there from time to time, playing great creative music. And so I would just, and in the communities, there's areas in the communities where people are playing creative music that they can check out. So, just find out where it's being played and see what's happening. Yeah.
Okay. Brother Talib, same question. If someone has never experienced creative music, where should they begin?
Well, they can begin with, like Turk said, come out to some of the AACM concerts. We have members performing different venues in the city. They can listen to artists like Pharoah Sanders, John Coltrane, Coy Tyner.
And the like. Okay. Great. Thank you for that. And Dushun, I'm going to ask you the same question.
Well, I think you ought to go to aacmchicago.org. That's where you need to go to.
AACM.
aacmchicago.org.
Okay.
And the reason why, you get to see all the concerts. This year, we just been filling up our board with concerts all over the city, all kind of genres. I mean, we've got vocals, we've got spoken word, we have the creative mode, we have straight ahead creative mode, and you get to see just about anything you might want to see going to these concerts. And these concerts, in a lot of cases, are free. So it's open to people. They don't have to spend $35 or $50 to come see us in certain cases. Well, for the 61st and a few more months, they're gonna have to spend that much, but not but not immediately. So come to some of the free concerts that we're giving there at the church and some of the other organizations. We gave a free concert. Well, it was kind of free concert in Madison last night, Saturday night rather. So people can go see us all over the place: Michigan, Wisconsin, Chicago. Just go to aacmchicago.org.
Okay. And that's on the screen right now. You can just copy it down and check it out and find out where all of the action is at. Maybe it's going to be in your neighborhood. Check it out. But before we go, I know that you guys also, you talked about some of your teaching, your training that you have for the youth. Can you expound on that, please?
Yes, I have a training class that I'm going through right now with some young drummers, and this is just for drummers between ages of 10 and 16. And we're learning how to play trap drums, the snare drum, but we're learning how to play different rhythms, and we're learning how to think creatively. And that's really exciting because at the beginning, when you're just trying to learn how to hold the drum, hold the sticks for like 10 weeks, it kind of gets a little nerve-wracking, but trying to teach them how to think, their mindset, trying to change that mindset at this time is what we get into. And we have flute lessons. We have in our school flute lessons. We have hand percussion lessons. We have guitar lessons. We have trumpet lessons. So we have different kinds of things going on at the AACM School of Music. So you can enroll your children there, or even if you want to learn how to play an instrument, or if you know how to play an instrument already, but you want to get better with it, come to some of our concerts or come to some of our in the room concerts, and we can help you. So that's
Okay.
where I think people should come.
Okay, because I know this guy that has this TV show, and he's like very anxious to learn how to play the flute. So I'm gonna let I'm gonna let him know that he can go there. And what's the charge for this?
There's no fee.
What? No fee? What? They should be knocking down your doors.
Actually,
Yeah, I just did a flute workshop last month. I'm doing
on March 21st, I'm doing a lecture on the history of creative music at 11 a.m. at the church, the First Presbyterian Church.
6400 South Kimbark.
Right.
Thank you for that. 6400 South Kimbark in Chicago, Illinois.
Right.
Fantastic.
So all three of us, we've done classes, workshops, master classes. Turk is also a historian of the Black West.
Okay.
He's written several books.
Okay. I'm gonna have to find some of those books and add them to my to read list.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, my plan was to retire, be in South Carolina, just sit on my porch and just read and play the flute. I haven't done anything, but the list keeps growing. I got like 25 books I want to read. I'm going to read them one day for sure. For sure. Okay. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you all for being a great guest. Dushun, Brother Talib, thank you so much. And Brother Turk, thank you for being on the show. For our viewers, we'll be right back in 60 seconds. And this is Born to Speak to You TV. We'll be right back after this commercial break. And we are back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. Man, what a great conversation we had. Improvising Wholeness, the healing power of creative music. We didn't just talk about music, though. We talked about breath. We talked about vibration. We talked about freedom. And we were reminded that healing doesn't just come in words. It comes in rhyme. It comes in rhythm. It comes in improvisation. It comes in allowing us to sound and move through us instead of around us. Creative music invites us to listen, not just with our ears, but also with our spirit. And to my guest, I want to thank them again for reminding us that healing is not passive. It is participatory. It is communal. It is alive. And to everyone watching out there, may you find your frequency. May you find your rhythm, and may you improvise your way back to wholeness. This is Born to Speak to You TV, where we want to speak life into the moments that matters. And if tonight's episode resonates with you, then share this episode with someone who needs healing. Support live creative music in your community. Follow and learn more about the Association for the Advancement of Creative Musicians. And answer this question: what sound brings you peace? To see this episode and follow more of Born to Speak to You, scan the QR code on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe to Born to Speak to You TV for more transformational conversations that move the culture forward. Because sometimes the most powerful therapy doesn't come in a session. Sometimes the most powerful therapy comes in a session of a sound. I'm your man, Calvin Gibbs, and we'll see you on the next episode of Born to Speak to You TV. Thank you for watching.
Of Brooklyn, where stories grow wild, to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark. Curtains rose and so did he, finding power in poetry. One voice, one mic, one sacred truth. Every word he spoke uncaged the youth. He saw the world try to silence the bold, but his soul was wired to break the mold. Now he walks in purpose, pure and true. He was born to speak to you. He's got that rhythm in his truth, that fire in his flow. Speaking life into the moment, watch it grow. Every phrase, every beat, a breakthrough cue.